Hello, everyone. I'm Jackie Ferrentino. I'm with Snapchat. I work in the business solutions group, and I work with many of our CPG partners. And I'm here with Gary Osifchin.
Osifchin, he got it right.
Is that Nordic? What is that?
Carpathian Rusum.
Okay, that's going to be our ending question. Is peeling back that onion. All right, we're actually here to talk about innovation and how innovation impacts media and your media decisions and your media planning. So we're at CES, which obviously innovation is a big piece of it. So we're going to go with a softball of just telling us how do you look at innovation within your brands? And actually, first do a little introduction.
Sure. Hey, so Gary, the head of marketing and GM of our Reckitt Hygiene business. You'll know us by our brands Lysol, Finish, Autodish, Airwick, and others. But great question. I mean, look, innovation, the buzzword of innovation, right? It's everywhere. When you think about innovation in terms of video content and media, and how technology and data used well as our friend can actually inform your strategies. And so I've been in this role and at the company for just about 15 months now, but when I came in, I was adamant that we needed to quickly move away from linear TV. We were over-reliant on it because it was cheap and efficient, and every marketing mix model told us, like it told every advertiser, that that's your best ROI. Well, that's great, but nobody's watching it. So, and if you're under 30, you didn't even start there, as we all know. I have been very focused with my team, and we're a very analytical company. We rely on data and analytics to inform our strategies and our decision making. So moving away from the historical data to something new was not an easy, sell internally. But what we needed to do was prove out, what would we do differently? And so when you think of innovation in media for us and video content, what we did was really partner with Samsung, Roku, Samba, and others to really look at and leverage technology from an automated content recognition standpoint to look at our media buy and put tests in the marketplace to say the eyeballs we're reaching on linear versus what we would be reaching through connected TV networks. Who am I reaching? How many times from a frequency cap standpoint am I reaching them? And ta-da, we're not reaching 60% of our target audience with linear TV. So when we finished up our sort of test sprints, we like to do lots of digital sprints. The data really told us what to do. I mean, we leveraged the data and completely changed the media strategy going into 2023. So in 2019, the division was spending 60% of our money on linear TV. Next year, I'll be spending about 28-30% on linear TV. So I've cut it in half from 2019. All informed by the data that is telling us that the unique reach that we're getting on linear TV isn't good enough, and that we need to go after different households via connected TV, via other channels, obviously, as well, to really build back up the total reach that we want to get.
What are some of those other channels?
Exactly. One of my sister brands is on Snap in another division. We're not, but we'll chat.
So let's talk about the creative, right? That is within the video creative. When you're programming or creating creative for a living room versus creating it for a mobile screen, kind of how are you looking at that?
I think critical, obviously, there's been a lot of conversation about content as well. I think from an innovation standpoint in content creation, as we all need to make more content, we all talked about this, there's too much content, but we still need to make more. Why? But that is the reality, right? From a format standpoint, everything. So we are actually globally using a system to monitor and look at creative once we've decided which assets we need and unique assets to then make sure that we've actually lived up to what the requirements are on the individual platforms from a video standpoint or from static to ensure that we're meeting the best-in-class standards. So all creative before it goes out the door, our aspiration is we'll actually be run through that to actually inform changes that need to be made so it's actually fit for purpose on the platform. We've also leveraged an excellent in-house content production crew who's just in-housing like no tomorrow, a lot of virtual content production, a lot of shooting across brands at a given time so that we can be more efficient and make more assets fit for the platform. So it's just another example where innovation, to deliver against the tech innovation in the media world, we needed the content and creative innovation as well.
There was a really good case study with Finish in the 24-hour challenge. Can you talk about that?
One of the things that we've done recently, thanks for reminding me, Finish is our auto dish brand. Finish is a challenger brand. Cascade is far and away the number one brand of auto dish detergent in the US. Well, guess what? Finish is number one globally. So my aspiration is that we're going to kick some Cascade butt and Finish will be number one in the US, the biggest market as well. But we have to act differently. As a challenger brand, Lysol, we're the number one brand, number two most trusted brand in the US. I have to be very cognizant of that and mindful in terms of what I do with the Lysol brand. The Finish brand, as a challenger brand, we actually started the Finish 24-hour challenge. So what do you enjoy most? And what have people done throughout the pandemic? Cooking at home. People actually started to really enjoy and discover cooking. We all got sick of it too, and then started going out, right? But people are still cooking at home more. With the recessionary environment and context that we're in, when you give up things, right? You give up dining out, you'll eat home more. You therefore use your dishwasher more. The enjoyment of cooking with family or friends over is still what you want to do. You don't want to worry about those dishes. Finish Quantum, because of the power of Finish Quantum, has the capability from a product role to actually deliver great performance against stuck-on, dried-on stains and everything in your dishes 24 hours after you put them in your dishwasher. So you don't have to worry about it. Enjoy the experience of the family night dinner, friends night dinner. So the Finish 24-hour challenge launched in October of this year in a fully digital environment. But we partnered with Instacart, and we're able to actually, when you think across a consumer journey, think about when you cook, you want to go buy things. So when you're making recipes, you need the ingredients for it. So by partnering with Instacart, we were able to develop the targeted comms that added Finish to your cart against a recipe. You then make the recipe, and you got Finish on hand, and it's all tied back. And if we didn't deliver from an efficacy standpoint, 24 hours later, you get Finish for free. Actually, the meal was on us for free, was the plan. But we're thrilled with the results from a digital standpoint. And now we're going to be expanding that and rolling that out more. So it's an example where innovation in terms of our approach and with a partner in that instance, we're actually learned a lot that's going to inform now taking that to something bigger versus traditional kind of start with the ad and then do all these add-ons.
And I always run the dishwasher at night, so now I feel like you've given me permission to change my behavior.
You can wait.
So thank you for that. On the topic of innovation, I have to bring up augmented reality because it's a passion point for me and it's near and dear, obviously. So I just want to talk about augmented reality and even just the metaverse in general and just how you think about it and what role do you think it can play within your organization and within your brands.
I think we're behind. So we've been doing a lot, as I talked about, in digital transformation. But I think from an AR standpoint in particular, we're missing opportunities. I think we see our competition, Mr. Clean, as a friendly competitor, is out there leveraging it on Snap. I think one of my sister brands in the company in our infant nutrition business, Enfamil, has actually recently done some work with you guys. And really good in terms of helping new parents understand the right formula at the right time and stage of babies' lives. I think that's a proof point for us internally now, for us to now go this year and start thinking more aggressively about what are some of our test and learns around AR. I mean, I think we chatted briefly. I mean, I've got all kinds of ideas that pop to the head. I mean, Airwick air fresheners in terms of bringing to life a scent experience. You can't smell it, but you can go into the place from which the scents grew, right? And we support the National Wildflower Rehabilitation with WWF. We could take people to the Great Northern Plains where a lot of our scents are sourced from and actually experience that.
I think you're onto something with
I think
visualizing.
So. There's also a little brand called Ridex, and we can actually take you into your septic tank and understand what's happening and why you should use Ridex on a monthly basis.
Who would use that AR lens if we brought you into your septic tank?
Our new campaign is launching, and the tagline is "Get your shit together." So
nice, well done. Okay, so I want to just ask about when you're presented, innovative opportunities or ideas. How do you assess them? How do you know what you're going to pursue? What's your process internally?
And look, I mean, there's lots of partners, right? Lots of great partners that brands, you all who support Brand Innovators, are here to help us find new ways to reach consumers and engage with them in different ways to help build business, right? To do that, though, we very, very focus, as I referenced, on what that return is going to be. So I'm a big believer in test and learn and not scale quickly. I know that a lot of people want to scale really fast, and at Reckitt, we actually are a company that is when I joined Reckitt, I was like, this is not Reckitt fast, it's Reckitt rapid. Like, it's just people want to make decisions and go. And it's like sometimes you can learn more by going a little slower, and put the proper test in market to learn, and then adapt, and then scale when you're ready. But I need to prove out the ROI. I mean, we've just finished a bespoke piece of work with a consultancy on a full funnel, and a full funnel was talked about earlier this morning, a full funnel media mix model internally that will now, with great results from that, we're already applying it on one brand and now going and doing it in other brands to really inform across channels, finally, what the ROI is versus traditional MMX.
What do you find the life cycle is, right? So when you're evaluating or testing, does it take a year to get it in market and scale it up, or does it take a quarter?
No, I mean, I think we do digital sprints on a regular basis, so it can be in a quarter in terms of, it depends on what you're testing, right? And do you have enough time period based on our purchase cycle? I've worked in food categories most of my career that are more impulse driven, so you get the repurchase much more frequently.
Yeah.
Our purchase cycles are more on a quarterly basis, so you need the time.
So everyone's being much more cautious this year, right? They have to give higher returns, and what's your advice to folks on how they can approach doing more innovation? I mean, it sounds like doing test and learns and keeping it small before you scale is one approach, but any other advice you have for folks on how to kind of approach things while they have to be so bottom line driven?
I mean, a huge unlock for me in terms of my marketing budget this year was that test and learn approach on connected TV, because by moving out of linear, to the degree that I did, I increased flexibility because I have more in digital. Now, I know for digital partners, they don't want flexibility, but that's the reality. And that gives me, on a monthly basis, the ability to see the return in market, see how the business is coming in, and decide and be choiceful. What I've also done is and I'd recommend if folks, as you're revisiting your plan, we have to get out of this annual plan mindset. We all do annual plans, but it's a rotating plan, right? And things change. The environment changes rapidly. And I think that you need to reevaluate the plan, but don't reevaluate your strategy every month. I really set up my plan going into 23 to ensure that I can still execute my stack channel strategy and not give up and suddenly end up with 100% linear TV plan because I bought it in the upfront. Like that's counterintuitive, right? But yet that's a cycle that many brand marketers have been in because you sign those contracts and you can't get out of them.
I want to talk about Lysol, one of the brands that Gary
oversees.
Small brand. And it is, now that COVID over, I'm not really sure. There's another sub-variant that's out. But when you think about the life cycle that brand has had, in history, but then the activity it's had over the last 2-3 years is kind of crazy. What's been like the consumer mind shift, and how are you guys kind of adopting and adapting to that?
We see that consumers' association with cleaning and disinfection and keeping your home healthy and keeping the bad stuff out has changed. Like, behavior-wise, it has changed. The heavy users clean and disinfect more. The medium users now also understand that. The light users who came in because of COVID have left. We see that. So the question for us is how to tap into those behaviors that have changed with many households and offer innovation, new products, new forms that deliver against the sanitization and disinfection needs. So for us, like Lysol laundry sanitizer, we've doubled down. It's going to be the second biggest segment of my business because Lysol laundry sanitizer, unlike detergents, actually sanitizes your laundry and kills odor-causing germs and bacteria. No other product does it. So detergent doesn't do it. So right there, I'm going where the space is that we're already created and are owning for the Lysol brand, and will continue to drive.
Lysol is the number 2 trusted brand.
Lysol, according to Morning Consult survey last year, is the number 2 most trusted
Who's
brand in the U.S.
Who's number one?
Band-Aid. We're friends with Band-Aid. Band-Aid's good. Lysol's good.
Do we know number 3?
Band-Aid's doing amazing marketing.
Okay, outside of hygiene, what are some of the things that you're seeing that kind of interest you in the innovation space?
It's interesting. I had to get glasses over the break because my LASIK was 15 years old, and I didn't make time yet for it. So I got glasses. But when I was waiting and looking at glasses, I didn't buy them. But I'm fascinated, and I did try them. If folks have seen the Ray-Ban Meta Spotify partnership, I'm fascinated by it. Like, who would think? Like, they're Ray-Ban glasses that have a camera in them and little speakers, and you can, with your voice or touch, I think, put on what you want to listen to on Spotify, take pictures. It's making it mainstream in terms of technology. And what does that mean? We've all lived through wearables for the last decade, but that's like, whoa, the camera's like right up here, and there's little speakers and things right there on your arm.
Snapchat has something like that.
Yeah.
Spectacles. We'll get you a pair.
So that's one.
All right, we're going to open up for some questions for Gary, because I know there were several, and so first I'm going to do a lightning round. Can we do a lightning round?
She warned me about lightning round.
I did. Okay. So, last streaming show that you watched?
Eclectic mix over the break. Emily in Paris, the whole thing in one stretch. You gotta see what they think marketers do. But then I also watched 1883, which came out in 2021 or something, which is fascinating. So I binged that, and then I had to watch Meghan and Harry's thing. But and something on Eleanor Roosevelt.
Do you 1883? You recommend that one? Is that
1883?
Is that on the? Would you recommend it?
I would.
Okay. There you have it. That is a very eclectic group of items. Okay, celebrity you would want to have dinner with.
I've been fortunate to be in Palm Springs for the last month, and there's a controversial statue of Marilyn Monroe with the famous dress up and everything. Very controversial. People didn't want it. Women's rights. Very important, obviously, from a gender equality standpoint. Sexism, everything. You name it. Lots of debate over it. Mm-hmm. Let me tell you. Instagrammable, Snapchatable moment. Watching, because I've been riding my bike a bunch, and it is just fascinating that people have the respect for and understanding of her, and she's still this icon that people want to get their picture taken in front of. So I'd love to meet her and talk about how whatever she owned in terms of her sexuality and how she lived, and let her see the impact that it still has, because people admire her. Couldn't you just hundreds, thousands of people going up and just standing in front of the statue taking pictures?
It's a good one. All right. Favorite Vegas activity or restaurant?
I took my father passed away a couple years ago. I brought my mom and dad here 3 times when I was here for conferences, and I still love it. Is Cirque du Soleil, and we always would go to Cirque du Soleil. So that was fun.
So good.
Good memories.
They never disappoint.
They're always good.
None of them. And then what are you? Craps? Are you blackjack? Are you?
I don't gamble.
Roulette?
No.
If you had to.
Slots, the easiest thing.
You would do slots?
Mindless.
I won't see you at the blackjack table then. Okay, best way to start your day?
Reading the New York Times.
Advice for your younger self?
Take more risks.
Product you can't live without?
Heels. Men's facial cleaners. Not Elf. I don't know. I guess Elf is $5. Kiehl's is $50, but I guess I have to learn about Elf.
No, I can't. You got a good one there. And then how do you de-stress?
Lately drinking too much wine.
+1 on that. All right, we're going to open it up for some questions.
I'll let it go one more time. We'll see how it goes. Could be the end of your afternoon, though.
You mentioned reach before. Just a clarifying point, does that mean on-target reach? And then are you using that for planning purposes, or are you able to measure that post-buy? And then a follow-up to that is in regards to outcomes. Everybody's talking about them, but how are you, or how would you recommend other brands think about reinventing the way they measure their performance standards?
Thanks for the question. We look at quarterly reach, and so that's what we were seeing amongst women 25 to 54. Linear TV was not delivering the quarterly reach at all. So that's where the stacked channel approach, connected TV, everything in the replan is now going to deliver it. And so we will be measuring that on a quarterly and ongoing basis. And then in terms of results, the full funnel marketing mix optimization model that we've built, our plan is that now that we've built it in-house and are going to scale it across other brands, that's going to enable us to then more quickly versus every 2 years with a Nielsen old school marketing mix model. No offense to Nielsen, I still buy that too, but like right now I'm really moving to a much more quicker way to then measure and understand the impact. To reach and from an ROI standpoint, in terms of the impact of the business, leveraging all the retailer point of sale data and actual point of sale data that we have.
Hey, Gary. I was wondering, talking about flexibility earlier, with the shifts in your investment, how are you approaching an upfront versus scatter market and linear now? I know traditionally it was kind of like a cost effectiveness, but maybe that's changing.
No, I changed it. I mean, Zenith is our media partner, a Publicis company. They're terrific, and we've had a great relationship working with them. And we're able to apply our strategy going into the upfronts to ensure that we were gaining the most efficient buy, right, for what we were investing in the upfront. And most of the big networks, everybody knows, have now put the streaming and everything as part of the upfront. But what I did was place more value then on the partnerships and what we would be able to get from a value standpoint, product integrations, bigger scale programming, as opposed to just the placement. So the emphasis on linear and streaming in that upfront still is real in terms of reach and efficiency, but also more about the value add that I was able to negotiate and get for the brands going into the year.
Other questions? All right. Well, thank you both so much. We are going to break for lunch. Before you get up, we have an amazing lineup later this afternoon. So brands from Pepsi, General Motors, Zappos, Kimberly Clark, and so on. So please come back here. I believe we're back at 1:45.